Officer Daniel Reyes stepped out of his cruiser slowly, the gravel crunching beneath his boots. He had been on the force for 12 years, long enough to read situations before they spoke. The car in front of him was old, paint faded, bumper held together by stubborn hope and zip ties. He'd pulled her over for a broken taillight, routine, ordinary, the kind of stop that usually ended in a warning and a sigh of relief. Still, something tugged at him as he approached. Maybe it was the way the car idled unevenly, or the way the driver sat unnaturally still, as if afraid that moving might make everything fall apart. Her name was Emily Carter. She rolled down the window halfway, hands visible just like she'd been taught. Her eyes were tired, not the kind of tired sleep fixes, but the kind that lives deep in the bones. Daniel greeted her gently, asked for her license and registration. She apologized immediately, voice soft, as if she'd been apologizing her whole life. While she searched through her glove compartment, he noticed the back seat. It wasn't messy, but it wasn't normal either. A small backpack. A folded blanket. A plastic grocery bag filled with canned food. And tucked near the window, taped carefully, was a child's drawing, crayons forming a crooked house with a sun that smiled too hard. Most officers would have missed it. Most people did. Daniel asked where she was headed. Emily hesitated, then said, "Home," before correcting herself. "Well, not exactly." Her voice cracked just enough to tell the truth she wasn't ready to say. Daniel nodded, pretending not to notice, but his eyes returned to that drawing. He'd seen similar ones before, during welfare checks, late-night calls, moments when life had already gone wrong long before the police arrived. He ran her information. Clean record. No warrants. Single mother. Recently changed address, twice in 3 months. When he returned to the car, he didn't start with the taillight. He asked instead, "Is the kid okay?" Emily froze. Tears filled her eyes instantly, spilling over before she could stop them. She shook her head, embarrassed, apologizing again, trying to wipe them away with the sleeve of her sweater. Her daughter, Lily, was 6. Born with a rare neurological condition that made her sensitive to sound and stress. Hospitals were familiar places. So were bills. Emily had worked 2 jobs until her body gave out and her savings followed. The last place they lived had been sold without warning. Tonight, she was driving to a church parking lot where she knew she wouldn't be asked too many questions if she stayed quiet. Daniel listened. Not like a cop filing a report, but like a human being who understood that sometimes the law wasn't the biggest problem in front of you. He looked at the broken taillight again, then back at Emily. "I'm not going to ticket you," he said. Relief washed over her face, but it was short-lived. He wasn't finished. He asked if Lily was with her. Emily nodded toward the back seat. Daniel crouched slightly, catching Lily's eyes through the window. She held the drawing in her hands now, studying him with cautious curiosity. He waved gently. She waved back, slow and careful, like she was testing whether kindness was safe. That was when Daniel noticed it, the thing no one else had. Lily wasn't just quiet. She was watching everything. Her eyes tracked movement, light, sound, with intense focus. She noticed what adults ignored. And taped behind the drawing was a folded piece of paper, worn at the edges. Daniel asked Emily what it was. Emily hesitated, then handed it to him. It was a handwritten letter Lily had dictated to her mother. "Dear God," it began, written in uneven adult handwriting, "please help my mommy not cry in the car anymore. I promise I will be brave at night. Thank you for the police who help people. Please send us a house with quiet." Daniel swallowed hard. In all his years, in all the chaos and calls, no one had handed him something like that. He turned away briefly, collecting himself. When he came back, he asked Emily to follow him, to a gas station down the road. Fear flashed across her face again, but she nodded. At the station, Daniel made a few calls. Not official ones. Human ones. A friend from a local outreach group. A retired officer who ran a shelter program for families. A pastor who didn't ask too many questions but always found room. Emily waited in the car, heart racing, expecting at any moment to be told to move along. Instead, Daniel returned with coffee, a sandwich, and a promise. "You're not sleeping in your car tonight," he said. It took time. Paperwork. Calls. Tears. Lily fell asleep on Emily's lap while they waited, clutching her drawing like a shield. By midnight, they had a place, a small, quiet room with clean sheets and a door that locked. It wasn't forever, but it was enough. Before Daniel left, Lily woke up. She looked at him sleepily and said, "Are you the police God sent?" Daniel laughed softly, tears in his eyes. "No," he said. "I'm just someone who noticed." Weeks passed. Then months. Emily found steady work through the shelter's program. Lily started therapy. The car got fixed. One day, a letter arrived at the precinct. Inside was a new drawing, this time a house with flowers, a quiet sun, and a police officer standing nearby. On the back, in careful letters, it read, "Thank you for seeing us.